morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I have voice for radio. So today, well, I've got a weird kind of video to show you. You see, over in Japan, they have gone and teased some really good new cards. We think. But all they've actually done is given us a little bit of information about them. But they haven't actually told us what the cards are. Which is kind of interesting, right? Now, here is the thumbnail that they have gone and shown us. And there are a couple of Pokemon hinted on there. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about what you think those Pokemon are before I give you my predictions at the end. But the lovely Antoine Boulet, who else, has gone and translated the information from the video and told us what cards we're going to be getting. Now, interestingly enough, one of them that was teased was a Pokemon tool card that helps Galarian Pokemon. Well, we don't really need to do much of a prediction or a discussion about this particular card because in yesterday's video I showed you Galarian Chestplate, which is a tool card that reduces damage done to Galarian Pokemon, or Pokemon with Galarian in their name, by 30. Kind of like a super-powered Eviolite, but, you know, it's 50% better. And it's cool, but we saw that card, we did a whole analysis of it so we can move on. But there are 4 other cards that have been teased that we can have a look at. A Pokemon with an attack that deals damage while attaching energy to the bench. And this one excites me a little bit because this has shades of Yveltal. Now, we've seen these kind of cards a lot over the years. Back in the X and Y era, this Yveltal was an absolute beast. Now, it was only 30 damage, but you put an energy on there and you did 30 damage while attaching a darkness from your discard pile to one of your bench. And we were in a bit of a slower format there where really early one-hit KOs weren't happening too often. So you would often have a turn or two to use Yveltal and build this up. Of course, we actually saw a different and arguably better version of this with the original Volcanion and Power Heater, because for 1 energy you did 20 damage and attached a fire energy from your discard pile to each of 2 bench Pokemon. The thing is, attacks like this haven't been as good lately. We're not using attacks like this anywhere near as much. You know, the Drampa from Dragon's Majesty did 20 and attached an energy from your discard to one of your dragon Pokemon, and it was nice, and maybe it's because we never really had any good dragon Pokemon, but it never ended up being as good. But let's not forget, we've got some really good UK-only cards. We've got Rosa. If you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, search for a Pokemon, a trainer, and a basic energy. We saw Bruno the other day, which is basically Cynthia's Feelings, except if you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, you draw 7 cards rather than 8. But it's still a shuffle draw 7 after having a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, so make no mistake about it, this is a really good card. So what you could do is essentially sit there, set up behind whatever this new Pokemon is, and then use a card like Bruno afterwards. It is likely to be a card which helps individual decks, you know, one particular color. We did have Rayquaza back in Guardians Rising, which could help anyone, but the fact that Rayquaza wasn't for a single energy is what doomed it to actually never be good. We need single energy attacks here. Maybe there's going to be some potential here. I suppose we'll wait and see. The one that kind of excites me is a basic non-rule Pokemon, i.e. a Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box. That is to say a non-GX, non-V, non-Prism Star, etc. Pokemon that can deal 180 damage for free energy. Oh, that sounds kind of good. Think of it like Galarian Surfetch'd, but as a basic. Now, Galarian Surfetch'd can do 180 for free energy. It then has to get out the active before it can use it again. That's not a big deal. But the free energy, stage 1, it stopped it from being as good as it should be. Now, again, we're left with a whole bunch of questions here. What weakness is this hitting? Because that's huge, right? With weakness, you're KOing anything. With fighting weakness, for instance, you're getting a one-hit KO on an Eternatus V Max, which is, as we sit here at the moment, the most powerful Pokemon we've seen. With a fire weakness, we are getting a Copperaja V Max, which is tied with it at 340 HP. So 360 with weakness definitely is going to help. What is the attack cost? Because if there is a double colourless energy in there, then twin energy is going to work, and that's wonderful. Outside of that, we don't know. If it's a fire Pokemon or colourless energy, we can use Welder, for instance, and that will be quite nice, although that will run out at rotation. Regardless, we know it's a basic Pokemon, so Turbo Patch is absolutely going to be out there, and maybe it's going to be worth it. Maybe it's going to be good enough. We need to know what typing it is, so we need our energy acceleration options. Some are good, some aren't. We need to know what type it is so we know which weakness we're hitting. But this still sounds like it could be a really good one. If it's a techable Pokemon, I am in. If you can tech it in to hit a weakness, I love it. If it could be a fairy type that one-hit KOs ADP, that would be amazing. But since fairy Pokemon don't exist right now, I would consider that to be unlikely. Would be fun, though. So that's a card I am very excited about learning a bit more about. We've got a basic Pokemon that puts damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon for a single colourless energy. Under the right conditions, it can put enough damage counters to one-hit KO a Mew, which kind of sounds a lot like Mew. Now, Mew generally comes in with 60 HP, the one from Unbroken Bronze did, so we're dropping 6 damage counters for 1 energy, which could be cool. And I'm digging this. Now, Mew, of course, for 1 colourless energy, puts 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like, which is kind of interesting. This can potentially do 6, and let's not forget we've got Galarian Zigzagoon. And Scoop Up Net. Galarian Zigzagoon drops a damage counter when you play it from your hand to your bench. Scoop Up Net lets you pick it up to reuse it. So I'm thinking here, there's a lot of 70 HP Pokemon out there, like Jirachi, like Galarian Zigzagoon. And essentially what we can do here is drop 6 damage counters while using Galarian Zigzagoon to essentially KO a 70 HP Pokemon, of which there are a bunch out there. And then all of a sudden, we're getting some really awesome cheeky KOs. And we're talking basic Pokemon. It doesn't say non-rule. We'll have to wait and see whether it is or not. But single energy, getting a one-hit KO on evolving Pokemon, etc. And because we know it's dropping damage counters, we know that we're going to be able to essentially take out bench Pokemon using this. So being able to take out evolving Pokemon before they get rolling, I'm kind of into this. This one really excites me. We need to know what conditions it is that let you actually drop these 6 damage counters, but still, this sounds really fun. And then finally, a stadium that will help decks that don't go for one-hit KOs. Oh, actually, while we're here, this is probably a good time. So I gave you that hint at the beginning. Did anyone see what the Pokemon were? It was a slight trick question. The card on the right is actually Dynamite Tree Hill. And I would love to say that I knew that myself, but I'm going to have to give the love here to the lovely Joe from Cerebi.net. It's Joe who actually told me about this. Cheers, Joe! When you need Pokemon stuff, Joe is probably the person to go to. Like, I would consider my Pokemon knowledge to be pretty gigantic, but compared to Joe, I am like a small child discovering Pokemon for the very first time. So, it's Dynamite Tree Hill, from the DLC, obviously, and it is a stadium card that helps decks that don't go for one-hit KOs. And I'm not entirely sure what this means. My best guess here is essentially that it's a stadium that does extra damage if the same Pokemon attacks 2 turns in a row, or does extra damage if the defending Pokemon was damaged. So, it would read something like, Pokemon's attacks do 40 more damage if your opponent's active Pokemon was damaged on your previous turn. Because again, it couldn't quite be if you were attacking, because if you keep attacking with the same Pokemon and it buffs you, then it would also buff you getting one-hit KOs. So it would have to be something like, your attacks do an extra 40 damage if this Pokemon attacked but didn't KO a Pokemon, and that just sounds awkward. So my guess is it essentially boosts your attack power if your opponent's active Pokemon took a hit but didn't get KO'd the previous turn. I'm not entirely sure. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some hints, and I think we know a fair bit here. And obviously all of these cards are going to be released over the next few days, one would imagine. Probably in the not too distant future. One of them, like I say, has already gone and been revealed before I could actually get this video going. So apologies for that. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and following along so that when these cards are revealed, you know there's going to be videos talking about them, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be fun. But now I want to know what you think about these. I want your predictions. Oh, by the way, and I've actually told you, I'm fairly sure the Pokemon is Spiritomb. I don't know for certain, but come on, it's blatantly Spiritomb. I'm assuming a lot of you probably got that. Certainly more of you got that than Dynamite Tree Hill. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.